So this week we started a new series based on the koshas, which are the layers of our being. A kosha actually means sheath or layer, and they're talked about in the Upanishads, some ancient texts that relate back to India. This is not something that's written about in the Yoga Sutras, but it's something that we can definitely carry over into the yoga practice. So there's 5 layers. And earlier this week, I was talking about lots of times yogis, when they talk about the subject matter, will talk about the wooden Russian dolls. And once you take the first one in half, there's another one in the middle. And then you take that one open, and there's another one. And there's usually a set of about 5 of those dolls. In the past, I've talked about it being like a lampshade. You know, you have your light bulb and you have 5 lampshades on top. And each of those lampshades represents one of these layers. And what we're really aiming for, trying to connect to, is the source of light underneath the shades. And that's what we're trying to connect to when we're practicing yoga and meditation, because that center point, or the essence of who we are, is the soul. So what I want to mention today about the koshas, we've been talking about the first layer, which is the outermost layer, which is the Annamaya Kosha, or the physical body. I want you to think about when you were a child, or maybe when your children were growing up and there would be a big snowstorm outside. Unless you grew up around a ski area or you were avid skiers, you didn't have the proper clothes for the weather. And so we would have to layer, we would put our long johns on, and we'd put a long t-shirt over that, and maybe another pair of pants on, and then maybe some jeans on top, and then a sweater, and then our coat and our mittens and all the earmuffs and the toboggans, and just layers, right? We even had maybe a couple layers of socks in case we didn't have waterproof shoes to keep the moisture away from the body. But by the time we cloaked ourselves in all these layers, we didn't have the same body shape. We had morphed into this big billowy bundle of clothing. And so the idea of koshas is to peel back the layers. It's like coming in from that snowstorm and taking all those layers off and jumping and getting into a hot shower. So today in yin, we're going to focus on the physical body. And since we're on Annamaya Kosha, we're going to start off active, and then we're going to move to yin. And you'll need a strap, and I'll meet you on the mat. So let's begin just sitting and breathing. Sit tall like a mountain, with your crown rising up like its lofty peak, the arms draping down as the slopes. The base of your body being like the crust of the earth. Take a moment just to breathe down into your body. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel as though your pelvis is like a heavy boulder, grounding you in place. Imagine your hip region, lower belly and low back, is like the rich soil. Your sits bones are like the roots going down below the surface, and the stem of the spine is reaching up over the topsoil, lifting up towards the sunshine. And as you close your eyes and peer within, notice how your body feels today. Whether or not you feel weak, strong, stiff, or open. And once you analyze the body, come back to your breath. Turn to the breath because the breath can always help us to feel better. The breath can alchemize our energy. The breath can bring in a deeper connection. Improve the quality of the breath by smoothing it out. Let's take 3 more. And gently flutter the eyelids open. And when you're ready, you're going to find your strap and we're going to come up to stand. Your bolster can be set to the side. And once if your strap is rolled, go ahead and unroll it. Folding it in half. And remember, you can use a scarf or a belt or something of that nature as a replacement. Once you have it shoulder width or slightly wider, look down at your feet, have your ankles lined up underneath your knees, the knees below the hip bones, and start to sail the arms in the air. At the same time, drill the feet down into the earth so that you have 2 lines of energy, a grounding line and an ascending line. And as you exhale, start to curve over to your right side. You're making Chandrasana, crescent moon shape with your body. Noticing the areas that are a little resistant. Noticing the areas that are really compliant. Notice where you may feel a little bit of a struggle. And openly breathe. Inhale, let's come back up. Exhale, let's take it to the other side. You're trying to imagine that your body is in between 2 panes of glass. In other words, we're not tucking the tailbone, shifting the thighs forward, and we're not bringing the shoulders or arms forward of the face. Notice the feet may get lighter when you swerve the upper body, so root them more. And then inhale, come up to the top. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your arms down in front of your thighs. Loosen up the grip with one hand so you can swish it behind your back. Your shoulders are going to roll back towards the spine. Your arms are going to lengthen down towards the floor, but at the same time, lifting away from the buttocks. And so for now, you're just gaining this nice opening across your chest. And your shoulders, getting that squeeze and flush in the upper back. On your exhalation, you can bend your knees. You can double over your thighs and bow your head. But notice once you begin to let go in the upper body, the shoulders want to come with. But you actually want to drive the arms up and away from the face. Deep belly breaths. Maybe see if you can move into a secondary edge with your shoulders. And then go ahead and release the arms down and come up to stand. We're going to do one more activity with the straps. Drill the feet into the floor, thighs roll in, arms lift up overhead. Start to bend the arms, bringing the strap behind your neck. And then you are going to drive the hips forward. So we're no longer in between those 2 panes of glass. And we're slowly arching the spine. Sending the arms up and out, gazing up towards the ceiling, drawing that energization into the heart. And then as you exhale, you can slowly release the arms. And we're done with the strap for now. Go ahead and walk the feet to the top of the mat. Bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. As you inhale, let your arms circle wide enough. As you exhale, bring your hands down your center and fold into yourself. As you hinge from the hips, you're letting your upper body hang over, shoulders softening, neck relaxing. And we're going to take it through a flow here. So inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, pour back down. Inhale, take it into plank. Exhale to chaturanga. You can always descend your knees to help. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll it back to downward facing dog. Hands pressing into the ground. Hips soaring up in the air. Taking some deep breaths in and out through the nose. On your next in-breath, we're going to bring the feet back to the top of the mat, lifting halfway up. Exhale, lowering down and in. Inhale all the way up. We're going to keep this flow going. Exhale, come back down to your Uttanasana. Letting the hands separate, letting your head bow. Inhale, create more of a 90-degree angle with the body or just arch up. Exhale, close back down and in. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, lower to chaturanga. You can always use your knees to help. Inhale, lifting up to upward facing dog. And exhale, rolling back to downward facing dog. Equal pressure through the hands and the feet to climb up into your seat and sacrum. Nice deep yogic breaths. Inhale back to the top, lifting halfway. And exhale, full release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. This time when we fold, I want you to bend your knees. Release over into the yin version of Uttanasana, which is what we call dangling pose. Head is heavy. Arms can be apart or together. The eyes can close. Try to emphasize a longer, slower exhalation. Exhalations are cleansing and purifying and help us to surrender and let go. We can short circuit our mind, short circuit our temper so that we can be more calm, more patient, more peaceful. So notice your body may be saying something different entirely than your mind. Mind may have quieted down. The body may be getting loud with sensation. Let's hold it just 3 more breaths. And on your next inhale, we're going to step back plank, but we're not holding plank in a structured way, just long enough to descend the knees. And we're going to fold back into child's pose. So from child's pose, you can do any variation if you prefer your arms wrapping around your body or arms extended in front. We're going to take downward facing dog before we start our yin poses. So let's inhale, rock up to hands and knees. Exhale, returning to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Then we're going to start off with a couple of the dragon poses. So let's go ahead and step the left foot forward and up between the hands. If you don't naturally step forward, it's okay to come to knees first and then to swing that left foot around like so. The hands are actually going to frame the front foot, and we're loosening the elbows so that we can drape the weight of the chest and shoulder to the knee. And then you're welcome to bow your head. You can be on fist or palms. You can even flip them upside down. And so when we're closing our eyes and steeping in these longer held postures today, I want you to try to stay present with your body. Stay in this outermost layer of our being, the Annamaya Kosha, the food body. So this pose is actually targeting both of the hips, but in a different way. We're getting more of the flexion on the front side and more of the extension on the back side. Perhaps noticing where the sensation is more prominent. Take 3 more breaths. And then as you begin to lift your head up, you're going to heel toe the left foot to the edge. Left hand comes to the inside. So we're gonna go into the winged dragon next, which means we're kind of winging the knee away from the shoulder. Now I can already tell I need a blanket underneath the back knee. So if you need to step out and step back in to get that extra padding, you can just do what I did. Blocks would actually be better for this, and all I have in front of me is a bolster. So if you wanted to hunker down lower, you can build up on blocks or a prop like this. You can also test the waters and see if it's possible to lower to the ground. And you're responsible for how much you wing the knee out to get into the hip more. So the more you roll to the knife edge of the foot, the pinky toe side, the more you'll start to kind of dig into that external rotator. If sensation's too much, maybe not wing as much or not go as low with your upper body. So at any point in time, feel free to back up. If your body begins to allow more, then you can scoot further down. Three more breaths. Dropping back up onto the palms. Rolling back to the sole of the left foot, heel toeing it back over. And then from this point, you can lean back into your hips because we're going to slide the left foot behind the right wrist. We'll rock forward to land to the left shin. If you need deer pose, you can flop onto the left outer thigh, slide your right leg up, and you can bow over the front leg. If you prefer swan, like a pigeon, then you'll come back where the hips are level, and then you can walk it out and lower in. The new moon was in Pisces yesterday. Pisces is a mutable water sign, and the element for the hips is water. We're not just going to stay in the hips today, though. We're going to work into the heart chakra, and we're going to work into the shoulders as well. Just kind of notice what this pose targets within your body. Is it your hamstrings? Is it your quads? Is it your IT band? Is it the piriformis? Is it affecting your knee? It will show up in different places for each of us, dependent on where life is showing up in our personal body. Right, so if you are doing swan, you're going to come up on the right forearm. The left hand is going to come to the side hip, and you're twisting to the left. However, I know some of you may be taking the deer pose. If you're in deer, you're going to bring the right knee over towards your left, and then you're going to twist to the left, being taller and sitting more upright. And if that's uncomfortable, the way your legs are formed, you can always come to a cross-legged shape and then twist from this higher degree. Unwind from the twist. And we're gonna transition through downward facing dog. So if you were in the more seated version, come to tabletop. If you were in swan, just tuck the back toes, and we'll all come into this formation, making this TP type shape with the body. And we're ready to move to the second side. So we're gonna establish the right foot in between the hands, however you wanna get there. Lower the back knee, shin foot, and then again, you're draping over the knee, bowing your head. You may have more or less resistance or compliance on this side. And breathe into the sensitivity. And you still manage your breath. And can you remain calm and patient in the process? Hold 3 more breaths. And then when we lift the head up after those three, we'll heel toe the right foot over to the edge. We'll determine here, wrist, fist, blocks, bolster, or coming on down to the floor. And then once you settle with your arms, you could wing the knee away from your side body. Low flying wing dragon. Continue to focus on the shape and sensation of the pose. And hold for 3 more. And coming back onto the stilts of the arms. And then back the hips up once you heel toe the foot over. And that way you can slide that foot across your mat, sink down to the right knee and shin, slide the left leg back if in fact you want swan. If you need deer, bend the left knee, come down to your seat, fold over this way instead. And another nice alternative is, of course, on your back, right ankle crossed. Pick one of those. Let's hold for 3 more. Inhale, lifting up for the twist. So you can rest on your left forearm, right hand to the hip if you're in swan. If you were in deer, you can try stacking the left knee on over, spinning to the right this way, or it may be more comfortable for your low back to just be in a cross-legged seat and then spin from the top. The eyes can be open or closed, but we're trying to stay fixated on the physical body today. So if your surroundings become distracting and get the mind rolling, feel free to close them. Let's unwind from the twist and let's meet in a tabletop to curl the toes to launch into a downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, we're going to sink down to the knees and take Anahatasana, the melting heart. So once you come down, your arms slide out and you surrender into the shoulders. You bow the back. If it's too intense with both arms, you can always cross one arm under your head as a prop. Both arms being out can be a little intense at times. If you took it to one arm, take it to the other. And we're not done with heart openers. So once you're ready, we're going to come through. If the blanket is still there, line up your pubic bone on top of that for that extra padding, and you can stack onto Sphinx arms. Now, in the yin positioning of this, the lower body's more relaxed. And when the lower body's relaxed and the feet are more together, it doesn't feel great to my low back. It may feel fine to yours, but I've discovered spreading the feet wider with that softness helps to kind of spread and loosen up the low back, so I'm not feeling that pinching sensation. Your head can be up or down. I'm going to keep my head up today. Move into broken wing next, which is a twist. If you slide your left arm out, palm facing down, turn to your left ear and cheek, slide your right hand back beside you, roll to your left side body, and flip that right foot so it's crossing over the left leg. The knee is standing up. Concentrations in the left side of the chest and shoulder while you're receiving the twist. Gently roll to your abdomen. Turn to the other cheek. Slide your right arm out. Slide your left hand towards you. And then roll to the side, taking your left foot back behind you. You're kind of standing on the big toe. And gently unroll from that twist, and we need a counter. So if you slide your hands under the shoulders, roll up to table, crawl your knees onto that blanket, and drop into your child's pose. This is going to work as our final inversion. The previous pose was our final twist. Your next in breath will slowly come up. And I'm going to suggest, you can do really whatever you want for Shavasana, but I was going to suggest for today, bringing the bolster in front, having that blanket to swaddle over the legs, to tuck it in. And then roll back. Notice how when you get settled, if you chose this pose, how the blanket can not only secure the legs so they're less apt to slide away from the prop, keeping them more molded together, but it adds in a little bit of a weight, making you feel heavier in the lower body. Gives us a slight elevation with the legs. Any elevation of the legs is going to be good for our circulation. Soften and spread your seat. Soften and spread the shoulders. Soften and spread that area of skin between the eyes. Soften your grip on your thoughts so that you can dive into that space in between. Affirm mentally to yourself, bones, muscles, movements. I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, any and all turning thoughts, I now give over to the hands of peace. Peace, be still, and know that I am. So now is the time you can drop below this outermost layer of the body. Letting the body become still, absorbing the benefits of the practice. Going deeper to connect to source energy within. The I am. Count 7 more breaths. Then roll the head over to one shoulder and then across to the other, going at a pretty slow speed. Bring the head to center, reach the arms overhead if you have the space available. And then as you exhale, you can hug the knees in. You can rock side to side. And you can roll over to one. Building your way up to the seats. And then we'll close out our practice. Resting for a moment, sitting upright with eyes closed, just to check back in with your body. Hopefully feeling like it's easier to sit. Your body feels more open. Your mind is more clear. Your heart is more open too. If you feel calm and centered within, we want to try to operate from this space once we step off the mat. Let's join the palms together. Bow the head humbly. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we all be free and at peace from anything out of our control, from anything imposed upon us by another, or any internal turmoil of our own. Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste.